This time of year, things seem to get a little challenging. We're totally ready for spring and for summer, but it just is not here yet. There is more light, the days are getting a lot longer, but it's still pretty cold out most days, and we're still getting kind of random snowstorms here and there.
Yeah, today, for example, as we're having this celebration, it's bright sunshine 1 minute, and actually pouring snow the next.
Yeah, kind of sleety snow. So during the dark of winter and this kind of in-between season here, it's really easy to start feeling frustrated, to start feeling a little sad, maybe to get the doldrums.
Oh yeah, we're waiting for the sunshine.
So right now, celebrations are perfect.
Oh, they sure are.
In our family, we have a steady stream of celebrations that run straight from Thanksgiving all the way until March. We've got birthdays in December, we have Thanksgiving meal, we have Christmas meal, then we have a couple birthdays in January, Valentine's Day, and then a couple birthdays again in March. So that adds a lot of nice celebratory spark to the darkness of winter time.
Absolutely does.
In March, we have these two birthdays that are right back to back. Rachel, the oldest girl, and Hannah, who's the fourth girl. And today, technically, we're celebrating Hannah's birthday, but she actually convinced Rachel to have a double birthday with her this year. So today we were celebrating both Rachel and Hannah's birthday.
That's pretty sweet of our 14-year-old girl to give up her day.
She really did. She really did that just to make Hannah happy, and it was so sweet. So for us, if it's your birthday in our house, you get to choose one meal of the day. And
anything you want.
Anything you want, and one dessert. And it could be a breakfast, it could be a lunch, it could be a dinner. Usually, most people are gonna pick a dinner. Occasionally, we have a boy who's gonna pick something like fresh biscuits and sausage gravy for a breakfast. Sometimes that happens. But today, Hannah and Rachel picked Papa's homemade burgers, and those are good.
They're famous
really
around here.
They are very famous. And surprisingly enough, only about half of the people in our family actually want birthday cakes, even though Rachel makes a really, really good German chocolate cake.
She does.
She makes about the best.
She makes a wonderful German chocolate cake, though I gotta say, I love it that so many people love other kinds of desserts, pies and cobblers and whatnot, full of fruit.
Full of fruit,
which grows right here on our homestead.
Absolutely, we like the things that we can grow ourselves. And cobbler was what they picked today, a berry cobbler. And I actually threw some peaches in at the last minute. These meals are really special, these birthday meals, because they typically are kind of a showcase of the things that we put together, the things we put up, the things we grow throughout all of the summer months.
Oh, absolutely. The berry cobbler, for example, I mean, we're celebrating a birthday and then we pull out those berries. And today we had raspberries, we had red currants, black currants, huckleberries,
right?
And that just flashes back to summer.
Yeah, it really does. And you know, we hear a lot during the growing season, like, we need to grow some of this because I want some of this thing on my birthday, or, you know, can we set some of this aside for my birthday? I know especially the boys, if they hunt, they're often picking out the piece of meat that they want saved.
Oh boy, it gets labeled and into the freezer. Don't touch it.
So it really starts, even the March birthdays really start when we're planning the year before's garden. It's really a long process. This is slow food at its best. So we buy a few goodies in for the birthdays food-wise, but we really try to think of each person as we're putting up the food during the winter too, and think of the things that they like and they might be requesting for their birthday, so we don't have to buy so much.
And that just adds to the culture. I think the memories for them of just that process of thinking ahead and what they want and seeing it grow or seeing it raised or hunting it,
right,
and seeing that culmination, you know, come together at a later time and making that personal connection. I think it's going to be fun to see how that connects them to the farm,
back to the food that
and to
they've
this
grown.
life as they grow. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so today we had Papa's homemade burgers with potato home fries and the berry cobbler with homemade peach ice cream. Now, of course, burgers start with buns, and you have to have a good sourdough bun to start with. That's always where you start. When you know that a meal like burgers starts all the way back at the buns, then you know it's going to be a busy day. It's going to be a lot of fun in the kitchen. But cooking around the wood cook stove, it's really fun because it adds a whole different element of, I don't know, like a bright cheerfulness
Well,
to the meal.
it's the next thing from just cooking on the open fire.
Yeah.
When you cook with fire, whether it's the open fire, whether it's in a wood-burning cook stove, whatever form it is, there's always something special. I've talked to so many people about this.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can talk about the wood you're burning and this flavor the smoke imparts, but even when it's somewhere like a wood-burning cook stove, it creates something. It creates a special flavor. There's some sort of magic there.
Yeah.
That everybody agrees they seem to love.
Well, there's that flavor, but then there's something like people just want to gather around the wood cook stove. So it kind of adds to a celebration feeling because people just come and naturally stand around.
Oh, yeah.
And even more so when there's good smells happening, right?
Well, good
food.
smells and it's cold and snowy outside. That's the best place in the house to be.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to ask people to step out of the way so you can check whatever's baking in the oven.
Don't burn the cobbler now.
Don't burn the cobbler. Get out of the way. Now, homemade ice cream comes in on birthdays a lot around here. It's kind of a really special thing that we do.
Dairy's a big part of our life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ice cream, homemade ice cream is one of the tops.
Absolutely. And the girls asked for peach ice cream made out of our summer canned peaches. And wow, that was really good ice cream. That was a good way to go. I think that was a good mix.
And it was particularly special this time because it's the last of the milk. The cow is now dried off.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of a final finale of the season until the cow freshens again.
Yeah.
And that makes it even a little extra special.
It does. You kind of have that period where you go without afterwards. And so it was kind of that end celebration. You know, I love the hand crank part of the ice cream maker because everybody has to pitch in and you get to work off the ice cream before you even eat it.
But you know what's really cool? Everybody doesn't have to pitch in.
Everybody doesn't have to.
Everybody wants to pitch
Everybody
in.
wants
From
to.
little Rebecca down, who can hardly turn it. Everybody who stands in line and waits.
For their turn.
Yep. And I've got a great strategy. You start with the smallest when it's easy, and then you work up in age.
And it gets
as
harder.
the ice cream thickens, and they keep it going.
That's a good way to do it.
And it adds to the community event. But it's been really cool because that's a culture that's built in now, and everybody expects to get a turn cranking the ice cream.
Cranking their ice cream. That's really good. Even though we have a lot of birthdays in our family throughout the year, there's 11 of us here in the house, and then we often have guests and grandparents and different people. We do try to always have some balloons and a festive tablecloth and kind of dress it up a little bit, make it fun for the person. And then we have the rest of the dinner prep. We have to make the burger patties. This is our amazing grass-fed beef from our small herd of Hereford cows.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the homemade cheese. Oh, that was the last wheel of cheese that I have in the pantry.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
And some of the longest aged so
yep.
far.
Yeah, we like the cheese and we tend to eat it pretty quickly when it comes out, so it hasn't aged very long. But I think this was 4-month-old cheese, and next year I'm going to be putting up a lot more cheese. This was really a learning year for me for
the waxing
and storing the cheese long term. And I've got to say it was a successful first year, and now I'm ready to up the production, I think.
Oh, it was. Yeah, you made some excellent cheese this year.
Rachel asked for bacon and avocado with the cheeseburgers and Ortega chilies. And luckily this year we had actually canned our own chilies.
Roasted chilies.
Fire roasted chilies. And they were really good.
They were very good,
They
by
were
the
very
way.
good. You
I
like
think
this?
we want to add
That's a hit.
that to the store, a larger quantity to the store there when we're filling up the pantry in the fall and summer.
If there's anything that we have trained our children in really well, it is appreciating really good food. I think even our little kids are foodies. So we usually crack open a jar or two of our sweet apple cider that I can during a celebration, any sort of celebration. This year I added some of our crab apple cider to it, and oh, that stuff is so good, and it makes for an amazing bright pink color. So it's really, really cheery color.
Really cheery, really fun.
I like fermenting it so that it's a sparkly cider, and I meant to get to it, and I just didn't get to it in time for this particular party.
You had no complaints.
No, everybody liked it just the way it was. And oh, those burgers were so good. Also, they were so fat that it was hard to eat them. Like, they were so tall, it was hard to get our mouth around them. And then that cobbler was amazing with the ice cream right on it.
Sure
Just
was.
those berries straight from the summer garden. Of course, there's always a few gifts, but we tend to keep it pretty simple in our family. Try and get everybody just something that we know that they're gonna like, or they've been asking for, something that they might want or they might need. And we tend to go pretty light on gifts, but try to make it special.
We try to keep it more about the person and the people and the gathering. And of course, the food is what really ties that all together.
Yeah.
And time spent enjoying those things together and celebrating the person, or in this case, persons.
Yeah.
Two lovely girls.
And then, of course, after the cobbler and the ice cream, everybody needs some time to play. So when the weather's nice, we try to go outside and play. Sometimes if the weather's, it's winter and there's a lot of good snow out, they'll go outside to play. And sometimes when the weather's in this in-between time, we have to do board games and indoor games.
Card games.
Yep. Legos. In our busy lives, it's hard to take time to slow down and make the most of a chance to celebrate. But these are the moments that bring us together as a family, and the moments that build memories. These are the moments that give a lot of meaning to the hard work that we've done all year. So take some time to make celebrations special for your family.